Hello and welcome to our course in New Mexico history. My name is Brandon Morgan and I am the instructor for our intersession class. I'm looking forward to getting to know you over the next couple of weeks and working in a very intensive way on studying New Mexico's past. In this video, what I want to do is show you how to navigate our course in Brightspace. I know this is a new platform for almost all of us, if not all of us. It's definitely a new experience for me. I just got finished putting everything together for our course, and so I'm really excited to see how it all works out. All of that said, whenever you're confused, you're not sure where to find anything, or you're not sure quite what to do, or just any questions you have, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me. You can text me. The number is on the syllabus. You could also send me a message in Twitter if that works for you. And also, you can meet up with me virtually on Zoom every weekday morning at 9. I did want to say the first day of our class, December 28th, I'll be on from just 9 to 9:30. I'm going to be taking my wife to get a LASIK procedure done, so I'll be cutting out a little earlier than normal on Monday. But I'll be back on the computer later that afternoon, so if you have questions or need help, just send me an email and I'll get back to you that way. Okay, so hopefully this looks familiar to you. I'm showing you our course in Brightspace on the Google Chrome browser on a MacBook Air. So I have a MacBook Air and I'm using Google Chrome. Hopefully that doesn't make too big of a difference, but things will look a little different if you access our course via the mobile app, for example, on a tablet or an iPad. So just do be aware of that. You should see this page when you first log into our course. As this says here under Welcome, the first thing you want to do is review the overview and syllabus. So let me show you where you find that. You click here on Coursework, and you click Content. While that's loading, just to mention, I've set this to show what's called the Learner View. So this should be the way that you see the class when you log into it. Not the way that I see it as the instructor who has editing privileges. If things don't look right, though, again, let me know and I'll do my best to help out. Whenever you come into the content area under coursework, like I just did, it will start in the place where you left off. So the last time I was in here, I was looking at Unit 1, doing some work with that. This is not where the syllabus is. The syllabus is in Overview and Syllabus. So you want to click there first. Once I'm done making this video, I'll post it both on the front page as an announcement, and I'll also put it here underneath the overview and syllabus. So as you scroll down, you can read my little introduction to our class. You can click the links to find the syllabus, to find our digital textbook. Please click the document here. It gives you step-by-step instructions for accessing the textbook the first time around. It also gives you the coupon code that you'll use to I'll say purchase it, but you've already bought it. It was included in the course fee that you paid when you signed up for this one. So don't purchase it again, whatever you do, and make sure that you follow the instructions here. Okay, so that's what is here under Overview and Syllabus. Again, it's just a welcome to the course, and it has the links to the syllabus, which I've also emailed out to you, a little information about Twitter and the textbook. When you're ready to work on the course, then you'll come over here to the table of contents. You can click on table of contents itself, and that will show you the course kind of in its totality. So you will see Unit 1, and then you go on to Unit 2. Or you can click into Unit 1, which I would kind of recommend doing that, since that's where we're starting, and you can walk through step by step. Notice this progress bar. I've come in here to check some things a few times. It tells you that a topic is complete once you've looked at it. So I actually haven't necessarily completed anything, even though it says that. So I just wanted to point that out to you. So don't think, oh yeah, I've done 75% of Unit 1. No, you've maybe looked at it. So just keep that in mind. Once you've submitted assignments, though, it will finally tell you that you're 100% complete. So you'll want to make sure that happens by the time you check off the box that you've completed a unit. All right, so once you get into a unit, you'll see the little image I've put there and the title of the unit or what it's about. Then you just click on the first item. So this one says, Welcome to New Mexico History. And this is only as quick as your internet at home, as you can see from my experience here. I've put an intro video for the unit. I'll say more about that when I show you Unit 2 in a second. I'm going to show you Units 1 and 2 because Unit 1 is unique. Unit 2 follows the same format as all of the rest of them, all of the rest of the units that we have for our course. So as you scroll down, you can watch the video introduction that I've created. You can read through the work that we'll be doing. So the very first slide in every first unit has a list of the work that you'll be doing so that you can keep track of your own progress as well. This one lets you know that you have until the end of the day on Tuesday the 29th, so you have 2 days for each unit to complete the work. All right. To advance, you just click this arrow. The next thing you'll do is place an introduction to yourself on the discussion board. I just added one, so I put my intro up there as well. I'm looking forward to talking to all of you there. So you click here on this, your introduction to our class, you go and create a new thread, and that's how you do that. If you're just kind of want to get an overview though, you just click the arrow and move past it. So that's what I'm talking about, of how it says that I've completed a bunch of stuff, even though all it means is I've clicked through this a couple of times. Here's the next thing. So you'll just read through this, watch the video. That's all the material you'll need for this particular activity. I'm going to move my head over real quick just to show you that here is also an advance button. So you can use this arrow as well to go to the next one. And as I've explained in this activity here, you'll read through all of that, you'll think about those questions, and then here is where you will start a new thread. So this is a discussion on the discussion board as well. There are 2 of those in Unit 1, the introduction and the what is history. Next, you'll get started with Twitter by tweeting a primary source and a secondary source. There's an explanation of that in the activity you've done previously. If you need help getting started with Twitter, there's a tutorial video here. I'm going to click out of this unit for just a second. So I'm going to click on this breadcrumb up here that says Unit 1. If you do that, rather than using the arrows, you can go back to that list. I'll move my head over again. That you saw at the beginning. So this is the list of everything that's in Unit 1. I know that we just saw the locate and tweet links to historical sources, so that's where I would jump back in when I want to continue working there. But I took this time out just to show you that the last 2 modules here provide resources and additional information. So if you're wondering about Twitter and the timeline, you click on this module. And you'll see here, there's the one called reading tweets. Whoops, I just collapsed it. You can collapse those with those arrows. So this gives you the instructions. You'll also be able to link to in various other places. It links to our course hashtag, and it provides that same tutorial video that I showed you before. Similarly, for the timeline assignment, this will take you to our timeline at Tiki-Taki. This will give you the instructions and some tutorial videos. So when you need help, look to these last couple of modules to find those kinds of resources. Going back to Unit 1 then, I just went away so I could see a little bit more about Twitter. I can go to Twitter now and complete that assignment. The instructions again are here. When you click here, it'll take you right back in to the flow of the work in the module or in the unit. Here we go. So again, I'll read through this, figure out exactly what I'm doing on Twitter, and get that done. Then I'll click to advance. This will be your introduction to our class timeline. What we'll do is put a post about ourselves. I've done that as well, so you'll see an example there when you go. But this gives you all of the instructions you'll need to post your own entry on the timeline about yourself. So you'll read through that, complete that, click the arrow to move on. And then, I should say, so with the timeline, you write all of your work on a Word document or a Google Doc, whatever word processor you use, and then you copy and paste that into the timeline on Tiki-Taki, you also submit that Word document here. So you'll just upload it and submit that. Do notice though that I don't have it set anywhere where you have to stop here and you can't advance until you actually submit it. You can go past it and come back to it later. So I've left everything wide open. In the course, you can work ahead if that's something you want to do. You do have to make sure you go back and provide a connection on the timeline. That will be explained in the units and so on. But again, that's an option you have. At the end of every unit, it has this self-assessment and looking ahead section. So this gives you the list of these are the things that you should have done, you should have completed in this unit. So you can double check that you have actually done all those things. And then this gives you some information about what's coming up. In particular, you'll want to be thinking about the final project. You'll post your topic by Saturday the 2nd. You'll have a bibliography by Wednesday the 6th, and you'll create your project. It's essentially a digital annotated bibliography that you'll do by Sunday the 10th. That's the last day of our class. So again, that's looking ahead to the very end of the class. Don't feel overwhelmed. It's just there to let you know what's coming up. So I'm going to click to advance. And since that was the end of Unit 1, the next thing that I'm going to see is this list for Unit 2. So Unit 2, I have the image and the title of the unit up here. And then, as was the case for Unit 1, you can kind of look ahead and see the list of everything that you'll have to do or need to look at. I'm going to scroll back up. I apologize for the dizzying scrolling. But to get started, you'll click on Unit 2, Intro and Objectives. So Units 2 through 6 all have the same format that I'm showing you here. You'll look at the intro and objectives. Here I explain kind of in broad detail the historical issues and events we'll be studying during this unit. Here it lists what you need to have completed by the first day of the unit, and then what you need to have completed by the end of the second day of the unit. There are some old videos here. I'm going to do my best to redo those over the next couple of weeks. I just haven't done it yet. You can see how old they are, and you can see why I started shaving my head. But again, I'll hopefully be updating those, and once I do, the video will be at the top of each of these intro slides. Moving forward, every unit 2 through 6 will have the readings. So Morgan chapters 2, 3, and 4, that's the digital textbook that I mentioned that you saw the overview and syllabus section. So you'll just go to that textbook, read those chapters. There are a couple of supplemental things, a podcast episode, and these questions here are just to help you think about what you're going to be reading. There's no assignment connected to those. They're just kind of for your use. So those are the materials you're responsible for as far as the readings go. If you get to the optional ones, that's great. If you don't, I understand we only have 2 weeks for this. So, again, just do your best. The film clips, as I've mentioned here, these are kind of an addition to help you delve into topics that you maybe didn't understand or just give you a different perspective about certain things. If you don't get a chance to watch all of these, it's not a problem. Again, there's way more than you could possibly do. Do what you can or what you're interested in and click to move forward. This unit has an extra section, this FYI. It sends you to some information about the Idle No More Indigenous rights movement and their hashtag on Twitter. Again, that's just if you're interested, you can look into that a little bit. And I'll have those occasionally. Every unit has this slide that directs you to do your work on Twitter. So what we're doing on Twitter is essentially posting some notes as you read. You can click here to open the Google Doc that has the specific instructions for what to do on Twitter. Then you'll just go to twitter.com. You can click on that little link with the hashtag. It'll open a new tab, and it will take you directly to our course hashtag on Twitter, so that you can go and post your work there. All right, then the next couple of things will give you information about the timeline. As I mentioned before, you will submit your Word document here, and you will copy and paste your entry on the timeline. Here you can click here to open the Google Doc that has all of the instructions and information about what you need to do to complete the timeline assignment. This refers you to that tutorial module that I showed you a minute ago. And then you can click right here to go to the class timeline on Tiki-Taki. So you'll have access to everything you need right there. Here's kind of the shorthand version of what is required in each of your entries for the timeline. And that is that. So you can complete that and use this upload button to submit your work. Once you've done that for the ID step, you'll move forward and you'll see this spot for the connection step. This is what you need to do by the second day of the unit. So this is where you make a connection to someone else's post on the timeline. You'll do the same thing where you upload your Word doc and then you'll copy and paste your connection onto your classmate's entry on the timeline on Tiki-Taki. Moving forward here, at the end of each module, you will choose to either complete the journal or the discussion board. You don't have to do both. You choose one or the other. If you want to do the journal, you click here to see what the instructions are. And then once you've written it, you upload and submit. Or if you don't want to do the journal, you just click the arrow, go past it, and see what the discussion is. For Unit 2, we're going to write a letter to the Rio Arriba County Manager about the removal of the Juan de Oñate statue. So you'll read a little bit more about that. It's something we will have read about in Unit 2. And for this post then right here, it'll tell you, to write the letter. And that's what you'll write. That's what you'll post in the discussion forum. You'll respond to one of your peers, and that's what you'll do. So remember to submit discussions. You just click on that link right there, and then you go and create a new thread. Again, though, if you didn't want to do that, if you went forward and you're like, oh, wait, I don't want to do that discussion, that's not something I'm interested in writing about, you can go back and do the journal instead. So you just click the back button here or go out to the unit list. Then finally, as I mentioned before, the last section of every unit is self-assessment and looking ahead. So this will tell you, make sure you did all these things. Don't forget about the final project in these steps coming up, and you can continue on to Unit 3. All right. So I'm going to have, as you get into Unit 3, there will be links to more information about what to do for the final project. But again, if you're looking at one of those final slides in the module and you want to know more about the final project, you can go find where it's discussed in the syllabus and link to it there, or you can just click here. You want to know about the final project, so that's the first submodule here. Click here and you'll get the instructions so that you know what you're doing. I put some video tutorials about what to do for each step as well. Whoops, I guess I clicked on the instructions, so you'll see that here. Something that's cool about Brightspace is that it embeds Google Docs right within it, so you don't. I do have some links that will take you to a new tab to see the Google Doc instructions, but that's not always the case. Some of them are right here embedded. So here you can just scroll down and then you can read through the instructions right here within Brightspace. Then you, well, my scroller's not working. My computer froze momentarily. There we go. Then you just click ahead to go to the video tutorial, those things that I showed you. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So the kind of crux of all of this is that to find everything for the course, you'll use this content section. If you want to jump straight to a discussion, click on discussions. Again, they're all linked from those unit modules. But I do have this for fun where we can share events, things that are coming up, things that were on our minds, whatever it is. Also, if you have questions you're not sure about, you can post them here. That way, not just me, but others in the class can respond and help out. Same thing goes with the timeline assignment. Because I know that that's a little bit different than things you might do in other classes, and we're using Tiki-Taki, a whole separate platform for it. I figure you might have questions specifically about that, so you can post those there. And then you can find all of those other discussions. You can link to them from the unit module, or you can just scroll down and find them here. This is also something if you want to kind of look ahead at each module to figure out whether you want to do the discussion or the journal. The journal assignment, you can click on and read the guidelines for that, but it's kind of always the same type of reflection on each different unit. It's just a different set of historical events and materials. The discussions, though, are always different. So here's the Oñate one. This one's about a digital graphic novel on the massacre of Villa Sur. There's one where you can create a meme about the US-Mexico War, one where you create an ad for New Mexico Territory in the 1880s, and one where you find a photograph of the Great Depression in New Mexico and write about it as a historical source. So the discussions are meant to be a little bit creative and kind of different in terms of the ways you'll approach these historical issues and problems. Scrolling up, sorry. And the journal is more of a self-reflective kind of thing at the end of the unit. For this class, we don't have groups. You can use calendar. I don't necessarily have video assignments either. You can access your grades here. So you just click grades and you'll see yours. Mine doesn't actually work right because I'm the instructor looking at this as a learner. So again, those are all there for you. If you need some help from CNM in terms of needing tech help, access to the library, student resources, that's all here. D2L, that's the parent company of Brightspace, if you need help with those. So how to use Brightspace, you can use the video tutorials or documentation to get some help. This waffle up here will let you kind of scroll between classes. I have a ton on here because I'm an instructor, but you should only have the ones that you're currently enrolled in. You can send messages through here. I prefer CNM email. I'm actually not sure if I think this will do CNM email. See, I have all these questions I don't exactly know about. So let's just make sure we're always being kind and patient with each other as we work this semester and getting used to this new thing. I do believe this does go to CNM email. If you were to send me an email from here, I'll get it in my CNM email. If you get notifications about upcoming assignments or things that I've added, in particular, I'm going to click Course Home right here to go back to the very beginning. And I apologize. I think this is a bit longer than these tend to be, but I'm trying to figure out Brightspace myself. So I'm trying to show you everything I can possibly think of. So this is where you come to when you first log in. I told you to go to Overview and Syllabus when we were last here. I will post announcements here from time to time. Also, if you want to, the content browser is here. Again, remember that these progress bars don't necessarily mean what they seem to mean, but you can click straight to whichever unit we're currently working on just by going here. So it's just a different way of getting there. Activity feed, I think I'm a little unsure about what that is. I think it's maybe meant to be sort of like a social media place I can post things to you all. Oh, it looks like you can post things here too. So you can post messages or questions. You can go straight to do an assignment, it looks like, if you select an existing one. Again, like I said, I'm learning this too. So let me know if you have questions, you stumble into something and you don't quite know what it was or what it did. I'll do my best to help. I'm looking forward to getting to know Brightspace better, and more importantly than that, I'm looking forward to working with all of you over the next couple of weeks.